organization's success can be gauged by many factors. Research publications are one of the key indices. Elite School of Optometry has many firsts in this field to its credit. The first modern Indian optometric institution, the first to start master's program in optometry, and the first to initiate doctoral programs in optometry. Our team also wanted to see our first peer-reviewed indexed publication and also track how this publication journey grew to reach where it stands now. Happy to share that with all of you.
Research is fundamental for any field in science. Optometry is no exception. This is exactly what the ESO did in 1988-1989, exploring research in the new vision science area of optometry in India. An early research work carried out by the ESO on the prevalence of vitamin A deficiency in children with reference to eye, covered in the Integrated Child Development Scheme ICDS centers, showed 21.3% of vitamin A deficiency. This work was done among 709 children, covering 4 areas around ESO in 72 ICDS centers by the then students under the faculty's guidance. Such systematic approach for research and guidance was available to the students of ESO from the beginning. The thrust for research has always been prominent at ESO and has only grown ever since.
The first observation, thank you, that I was the first MPhil student. In terms of PhD work, again, I work more on angle closure related, maybe primary angle closure suspect. There was a better understanding in terms of the predictors, especially of the UBM parameters those time. When I had my PG students under me or the PhD students, almost all the work which has been done, whether you take all the community related work has been got implemented.
Former ESO principal Dr. Krishna Kumar used to ask me some probing clinical questions, and most of the time I would struggle and he would ask me to probe further. Around that time, we used to get a different kind of myopes, where there would be difference between objective and subjective refraction values among a cohort of myopes. And even after cycloplegic refraction, this difference exists. And Dr. KK suggested me to approach Anglia and asked me to probe these myopes further. I approached one of the myopia experts at Anglia, Dr. Sheila Ray, and she was the one who suggested me to go through near work induced transient myopia articles. Then I realized that Dr. Balamurali, our alumni, have worked in this area extensively, and I approached him and started working with him. Later, along with Dr. Balamurali and Dr. Peter Allen, who was my PhD supervisor, I published my work on NITM among Indian subjects. One of the key findings was that myopes had increased magnitude compared to emmetropes, and the decay was much faster compared to other ethnic groups. Later, we hypothesized that this could well be one of the protective factors among Indian myopes. We continued our work on these cohorts of myopes and published our work and coined a new name, Indian variant myopes, as this presentation was very different from other myopes. As far as our community activities, we screened over 14,000 children and we found that a threshold of spherical equivalent less than or equal to minus 0.75 diopters agreed well for the estimation of myopia prevalence among Indian children when using non-cyclopedic refraction. We are continuing our community activities and hopefully will come up with more information.
Binocular vision and pediatric optometry is a core optometry area where we can establish our uniqueness, our individual identity, and there's enormous scope for us to contribute as decision makers. So there were so many unanswered questions, and I took one such burning question and went ahead to explore this in the community as an epidemiological project. So that was my PhD work. But I should say that the outcomes of my PhD sort of serves as the benchmark in terms of like the normative data for binocular vision parameters, and it also helped us to understand the burden of binocular vision dysfunctions in the community, like among school children. The minimum test battery that we were able to come out with as part of this work indeed helped many optometrists with their clinical practice as well as in their community eye health protocols, and coming out with the publication wasn't very difficult because there was not anything in this area, but of course acquiring the necessary skill set and then strategies for publishing, that indeed took some time.
My journey in research started way back in 2003 when I was pursuing my third year of optometry. I started my project in the Chennai glaucoma study, which inspired me and dragged me into their stream under Dr. Ronnie sir and Vijaya ma'am. A big thanks to Dr. Ramesh who pulled me into the team. Through the Chennai glaucoma study team, I have learned research aspects and completed my master's and PhD. It has brought me more than 30 peer-reviewed publications and fame in the Indian optometry. Research grants and international collaborative projects were possible with the strength and support of research at Nethralaya. Now, heading the occupational optometry services, though it is a clinical service, I see it through the research eyes. With Dr. Santanam sir, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir, and my fellow optoms, I wish to bring in more laurels to the optometry fraternity. Thank you.
I have started my career as a clinical optometrist in the Department of Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus. I was a part of several clinical studies during my stint, which has ignited my passion in research, and my subsequent work aided me to enroll doctoral program. So let me share a couple of public health research projects which I was a part of. The first one was my doctoral work, which was on understanding the visual demands in school classrooms. So our research findings were published in few high impact factor scientific journals, and the impact of this research was that we shared the key results as recommendations to the school authorities through the Directorate of School Education, and this was also covered by leading newspapers like Times of India. The second research work was on the construction and validation of logmar visual acuity in 7 Indian languages. The impact of this work was that we are very proud to get the AIOS Indian Journal of Ophthalmology's Platinum Award for the best research publication for the year 70.
I joined my PhD in the year 2016. I started writing papers again. Many reviews have come from many journals. So I have two giants in my life. I used to always thank these two gurus, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir and Dr. Rajaraman sir. As we know, research in low vision field is very less. I wanted to transform this clinical information into a research work.
Good afternoon to all. I am Ramya, doctoral researcher doing research on visual impairment and falls under the supervision of Dr. Krishna Kumar and Dr. Anuradha. I am also faculty at Elite School of Optometry and working as an optometrist at Shankar Nethralaya. Publication. So you need to select a proper journal because your area of interest may be different from the journal's point of interest. So they may not accept it. The reason can be many. It's not that your work is not good and all that. So they may not be in a position to accept your work because they may be interested in something else other than your work. So just try to find out a proper journal because the acceptance rate is around 14%, 10 to 14%. So if a journal receives 100 manuscripts, they may be able to publish not more than 10 to 14. So that's the reason why keep trying until it is published.
I was fortunate to be associated with Dr. Rajeshwari Mahadevan for quite a number of years. Being a tertiary eye care center, we were flooded with cases that dealt with unique and challenging contact lens fittings. We were also dealing with contact lens wearers who have been successfully wearing lenses for more than 30 years. Seeing my passion for research and writing, she encouraged and motivated me to indulge in more research activities by converting all these data into manuscripts. We started out by making a list of journals along with details like the impact factor, the scope of the journal, and the author guidelines. Relevance should match the scope of the journal. This is very important in order to reach out to the target population that we are aiming at, because research is always incomplete without dissemination. We took the help of language editing services to finally edit the manuscript before the final submission. So, for the first time in India, we were reporting that the prosthetic replacement of ocular surface ecosystem lenses could be fitted in highly ectatic corneas by modifying the parameters. And we were also reporting the contact lens trends of patients who are wearing contact lenses for more than 30 years. This is regular aftercare consultations. So these were messages to the community that we can successfully fit contact lenses both in regular and irregular cornea.
Community optometry is my research area of passion. Often, the success of these school eye health programs were gauged based on the number of screenings done or the number of spectacles that were prescribed. But I was a lot more concerned about the complaints to the spectacle wear and the referral. In 2010, the complaints to spectacle wear and referral was just 18% and 4% respectively. But I started my research program then around 2013, and my doctoral work gave a 23-step intervention package that could improve the complaints to spectacle wear to 56% and the referral to 78%, and thus begin my research journey. This is a long, much cherished, fruitful journey. I am sure this would continue forever.
Audio Jungle.